Hey guys, it's Amber here. Thank you so very much for joining me today. Today is going to be a fun plan with me, of course. Me is a recipe plan with me. I'm going to be doing ramen broth. And honestly, I feel like if you have the broth and then you have the other ingredients to like improve or add on to the broth, you have ramen. And I've made this. This is actually a newer recipe for me, but I've been using it for about, I say, 4 to 5 months. And my brother, who is like, I call him a ramen head, he says my ramen is the best. And I will definitely link the recipe that I use. And the guy is named Wil Yeung, and he is an amazing chef. And this is where I got this recipe from. So without further ado, let's jump right in. I am going to use a Pigma Micron 08 to write my title. And it is Ramen Broth. Okay guys, we lost a ton of footage, unfortunately. I don't know what happened. Everything that I wrote down except for ramen broth was seen. I'm so glad I caught that before I finished everything. So today I am going to be making the ramen broth, and here are the ingredients. 1 large onion, rough chop. You could even leave like the outer peel on, like the brown or the purple. It doesn't matter what kind of onion, whatever you have on hand. 1 bulb of garlic cut in half so you hit all the garlic cloves. 3 tablespoons of olive oil, 4 celery stalks rough chop, 1 apple dice, 1 potato dice, 6 cremini mushrooms sliced in half, 2 tablespoons of Himalayan salt, kombu, which is a type of seaweed, and you can use 10 grams or 3 ounces of the kombu. It usually comes like this long. I usually just break it right in half and throw half of it in my broth, and my broth comes out delicious. And then 12 cups of water. Also, you guys didn't hear all of these items. This broth will serve about 5, but what I like to do when the broth is completely done cooking, I'll go in and add another like 2 or 3 cups of water so it can get up to 6 servings, because it's actually going to cook down to 11 cups when done. The main ingredient is, of course, vegetables. Difficulty is 1. It is so simple to make this. Prep time is about 5 to 7 minutes to cut all these veggies, and then actual cook time is 1.5 hours to 2 hours. And as you're cooking this, you want to cook it on a medium low. Like I was saying before it even got to all this, I'm going to write down how you actually make the broth. And then in the notes section, I'm going to write a simple ramen recipe to incorporate with the broth. And it's literally ingredients that you put at the bottom of the bowl, and you kind of mix them together, and then you pour your hot ramen broth on top. And then in the serve with, I'm gonna list several vegetables that we like to serve with our actual ramen. Super yummy. So after I finish writing the preparation, I'll be back. Okay guys, so I wrote out how to make the broth. In a huge pot on medium heat, add olive oil and let it get warm. Then add in onions and garlic and let cook for 5 to 7 minutes. I usually let mine cook only for 5 minutes. Actually, like, put a timer on my oven. And then add in celery and apple and saute for another 5 to 7 minutes. I do the exact same thing as I did before, only saute for 5 minutes. And then I add in my potato and mushroom, and I saute for only a minute. And then I immediately add in my salt, kombu, and water, and I bring it to a rapid boil. And his recipe calls for you cooking it for at the minimum of 45 minutes, but for best results, he says cook it for 1.5 to 2 hours. I usually cook mine for 2 hours, and I should actually write this in. Add gonna just kind of squeeze it in here because I don't want to put it on that line. Okay, and then you're gonna pour the stock into a large sieve or colander to catch all the solid ingredients. Press out extra liquid and transfer to storage jars. I usually use like mason jars, but I know there's, you know, if you have extra jars like salsa or pasta sauce, you can use those kind of jars as well. And I usually need about 4 mason jars to keep all the liquid in. And then you want your liquid to actually sit in the jars and cool on the counter before you transfer them into the fridge. And I found that I can let my stock last at least 10 days. Okay, so I may add some more here, like some like cook your ramen to package instructions. I usually just get my ramen, like I said, at H Mart, and you get, like, everybody knows what like a little brick of ramen looks like about that big, about that high. 6 come in a pack, and it's $1.50, super cheap. Cook it to the package instructions and put it in my ramen broth, add all my vegetables on top, and bam, ready to serve. So in the note section, this is just a simple ramen recipe. Simple ramen. Oops. And for the simple ramen, you're going to use 1 teaspoon white miso, 1 teaspoon of sugar, 1 teaspoon soy sauce, 1 teaspoon of sesame oil. And what I like to do when I prep my ramen, I put all of these items in the bowl, and then I pour a little bit of the hot ramen broth in, and I whisk it. I have like this like super tiny whisk, and I whisk it. Then I pour the rest of my broth in. I then put my noodles in, and then I put all my veggies in. And there's a couple of different veggies that we really like to use, and one is baby bok choy. Also like to use not regular broccoli, but broccolini, and I love it. We also like to top it with a multitude of mushrooms. I think the last time I put like a 5 mushroom mix that I made myself on top. So I'm just gonna write just mushrooms. Oops. Mushrooms. Kind of did that funky. Also like to use, cannot spell right now, cilantro. Cilantro is just like super nice and like fresh ramen. Also, let's see, what else do we put? Honestly, you can put whatever veggies you want or whatever like meats you want. Like, I never put any faux meats or anything, but if you like shrimp, chicken, beef, pork, whatever you like, you can put on. And I usually lightly saute all these items before I put it on, because I don't particularly like raw, like super raw veggies. I just like them like kind of like, if you can either blanch them, like that's just like putting them in warm water and dipping them in for about a minute or two, or lightly sauteing. So I'll do that. Those are typically the veggies I put on top. But let me finish writing my simple ramen. Let's do green. Place in a bowl, whisk, and a small broth. Then pour rest of broth along with ramen and veggies. Also, I like to put toasted sesame seeds. Ooh, I can really fit that. My son will know what that is. I'm also gonna write right here. We also serve it with a chili oil, and I'll link the recipe for that in the description, as well as a black garlic oil. And we're gonna just write enjoy down here, because that's exactly what you should do when you eat this ramen. It is delicious. I will definitely put in a little snippet of the ramen that I made, and I did put a few of these items in here. Hey guys, so here is my ramen. So yummy. It has freshly cooked, like sauteed broccolini, fresh cut cilantro, mushrooms that were in the broth that I cooked, and like a soybean like Chinese sauce. It's so good. So here's my ramen. It's so freaking delicious. I can't wait to eat it. Hope you guys enjoy. It was super yummy. So let me show you the books I used. I used Recipe and jewel tone boxes. I believe it's food that I wanted to go in, and I believe they had, is it yellow food or green? I think it might be green. They have a couple of different ramen bowls. Yeah, there's one of them. There's the other one. This is why I used purple. Put our ramen bowl there. We also have this that says yum. Put it here. Oops. I don't want it to cover up my writing. And trust, this is super, super yummy. I don't know if I should add the yellow one. Let's see what else. They have that cute one and that one. Let's just check to see if there's anything else. I mean, I could technically put all the veggies that I put in the broth. Let me just check. Just want to check to make sure I'm not, you know, overlooking anything that I may want to like decorate this with. These ones I haven't quite figured out how to decorate it, make them like super cute. So it's definitely like a work in progress. I honestly think I'm gonna leave it as is. I believe there's some chopsticks. They don't really go. Okay. So I didn't use anything out of yellow food, but I did use bowls and yum from green food. And this is my plan with me. You should definitely try out this recipe. I know it's kind of time consuming, but once you have that broth and you have all those other ingredients, it makes a magnificent meal. And while we're going into fall, even though it's still a little warm now, this is going to be great. And honestly, it's delicious during the summertime too. Thank you so very much for joining me today. I hope you like this plan with me. If you like it, you should definitely give me a thumbs up. Like, subscribe, comment, click the notification so you'll be notified when I post content. Thanks again, and remember to have a beautiful one. Bye.